Eric, what's up, my man?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you all right. I just can't see you yet. There he
So
is,
I'm
the
doing
man,
this
the
off
myth.
my iPad.
I can see you now, man. The man, the myth, the legend. How we doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm good, man. I cannot complain. So today's call, man, is all about you trying to get some better clarification, really, on where you're at with your online fitness business, maybe where you want to be at, and hopefully I can provide
Mhm.
you some strategies to get you there. Sound cool?
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right, my man. So where are you currently at? What are we doing for work right now?
Currently, I'm a physical therapist assistant.
Okay. And how often are you doing that? Are you doing like 20? Are you doing like 40 or 40 hours? What does that look like?
A 40-hour week
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
for 5 years.
Cool. So are you looking to tie kind of maybe this personal online coaching in with your physical assisted therapy as well, or are you looking to become more of that full-time coach?
So right now, in a realistic standpoint, I need to do it on the side before launching it to be a full-time thing.
Okay. I like that, man. Cool. So if we were able to make this a full-time thing eventually down the road, what would we need to be making to replace that current income?
Probably just to kind of get a basis of how much I make per year as a PTA. Make at least 60,000. So if I'm able to make a little bit more than that, or at least towards that amount, that would be best in order for me to kind of switch over to this to do it full time.
Yeah, cool. Let me give you some context behind that. Industry averages, just on the average end, very low end, 250 a month for services, all the way up to 500 per month on higher end of services. Obviously, that you can even take it higher based upon really what you're offering. So let's just say you're offering around 400 bucks more on that upper end per client per services. Okay. So if you literally had, you know, 20 clients, that gets you 8K a month right there. Right. If you had, and that's 96,000 a year. If you had 25 clients, that's going to get you that 10K. So 120K a year. So we can really, 120K a year really doubles what we're currently bringing in. It can happen relatively fast. Like I said, only 25 clients. Do you feel like that's pretty doable for you?
It's doable, but in terms of like getting clients and closing calls and all those type of strategies that are made, because I know there's like a process of how you can acquire this, and it's also in business, it's like it's never always consistent. Some days you're gonna have, some months you're gonna have lower than 10K. Some days you're gonna have 3K per month. Sometimes you're gonna make bank where you're having 20K monthlies, right?
For sure. So we're going to help you establish a consistent flow, right? So a huge part of that is going to be our level of retention. If we can keep people for longer periods of time and get them to lock in at longer periods, we have consistent data every single month. So we'll always know what we need to bring in or what we need to replace if we're losing someone on that edge. As far as marketing aspects, we're going to show you how to do that more streamlined, more efficient, utilizing some AI software, some chat GPT to make things a little bit more efficient as well. So everything's going to be organic. You're not going to be investing a whole lot of money into making any of these things happen. It's all organic based. Outside of you wanting to become, you know, a full-time coach down the road, what else are we looking for? Are we looking for more time? We're looking for more flexibility? Like what is it that we're looking for?
I guess something that's like reward. I like helping people. So when I'm helping people meet their fitness goals or helping them in rehab, different type of things like that. I don't really care about how much money I would be making necessarily. Of course, money is nice, but knowing on how I'm able to be sustainable, where I'm able to enjoy what I work for and what I do, is what I'm searching for.
Cool. Now, with that being said, do you have like an ideal type of client that you'd want to work with? Because I know right now, if you're helping people do like recovery and things of that nature from injuries, do you kind of have a specific type of niche client that you're really working towards?
Niche client would be somebody that's like me. So for my history of like my fitness journey is where I was skinny and then I bulked up, I went to the gym, had some like experiences on knowing and how to eat well, work out well. So my ideal client is someone that is skinny, needing to bulk up and gain some muscle.
I like it. Cool. What do you feel like is going to be the biggest challenge to really get this thing up and running the way that you want it to?
Biggest challenge would be the whole setup of acquiring new leads, closing calls, because this is the first time kind of working with clients on an online basis.
Okay.
Or even like working with people in the fitness industry or fitness journey in of itself. So I only have like patient clients that come to me versus me trying to reach out to for them to come to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The cool thing about this is we can market this in which a way we can bring more people specifically to you towards your current practice. And we can also bring these people to you for your online fitness business. So you kind of have a unique diverse about you because you know how to help people after they get messed up, right? Like physical therapy, it's all about rehabbing the correct way. So there's a lot of people that come in that are constantly injured. So you'll always have those individuals that are, you can serve their pain points. They just want to feel better. They want to feel like they're optimal. Then we can also help those other niche clients that you have that are someone that's a little bit on the skinnier that wants to bulk up and gain some lean muscle tissue. So if we market with showing off both of your strategies and what you're really good at, we can kill two birds with one stone. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Cool, man. Outside of that, I know you had mentioned this is kind of like our first steps. What else have we tried? Have you looked at any certifications, any online coaching before? What does that look like for you?
So right now I'm in the market of knowing who is able to help me the best.
Okay.
So I've looked into different avenues on whether or not to go through the fitness coaching programs or their business protocols. I was looking into this guy called Healthpreneur. And then I have a personal buddy of mine that was willing to give me some advice in terms of how he did his online fitness coaching business as well. And I was watching that intro demo ad from the email, and Healthpreneur does a little bit of the opposite of the flip, where he starts with ads versus where you guys don't believe in starting with ads.
Correct. So the reason behind that is your ads is going to be virtually useless if you're not good at sales and if you don't have your back end systems already set up. So a lot of individuals will lead with ads, but then they don't know how to handle that lead generation, right? They don't know what to do with it. They don't have their offer defined. They don't have their back end systems created. So all it leads to is just a bunch of wasted money and all these people going to the wayside because you don't know how to service them properly. Whereas we're actually teaching you the different angle of let's build up your business, let's get you clients, let's build in your back end systems. Let's make sure that we have a 10 out of 10 product, that we have our offer, everything created for you. So that way, when those leads start coming in, we actually have an idea on how to like divvy them out, distribute them out, right? So we also want to make sure we have a larger return of investment. Really, we don't start running ads until you're hitting about 8 to 10K a month on a consistent basis. And then we start looking at maybe bringing on maybe a DMer, usually when you're hitting around 8K, 6 to 8K. And then an assistant coach probably wouldn't be brought on until you're hitting about 12 to 15K on a consistent basis. So we have specific timetables and about earning potentials based upon the industry averages and what people are seeing. Otherwise, you're just wasting money on something that could be used towards something different. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. What questions do you have with that so far?
So in terms of like running ads, I understand like because I know like having the back end is very important, knowing how to service your clients. I would assume like that is something that you already set up and not just going through ads and hoping for the best. So in setting up that back end and having that, can't you just run ads on a smaller scale rather than going through with something that's so much money invested first? If you know what I'm coming from?
So essentially, when you're going into some of these like different coaching strategies, there's going to be some that are niche specific. Maybe they're really good at ads. Maybe they're really good at maybe they're good at like one or two things. Essentially, what we're doing is we're showing you how to have everything in one house. So we teach you how to build these things up the right way. So when you do hire out to run ads, you understand like different timetables, return on investment. We also understand when you're bringing on someone to hire, what those roles encompass because you've already done them yourself. So if we can maximize our organic strategies first without having to come out of pocket first, that's obviously ideal because you're still building your business and you're not having to come out of anything at all, right? So if we can maximize that, also use our local outreach as well, then we can start running ads once we're getting to that sticking point to where we're ready to like scale that next level. For 10K Accelerator, our whole focal point is to get you from 0 to 10K on a very consistent basis. Once we're hitting 10K, I'd say consistently for like 2 to 3 months, then we'll start moving you into that advanced stage, which is mastery level coach. And that's where we're teaching you how to like lead leaders We're basically maximizing everything that you already have done. We're plugging up any holes or leaks that you have, because if you have any leaks, that's going to ruin the overall foundation, right? And a lot of individuals want to skip steps to maximize product, but the problem is they don't have a consistent product if they do those steps first, right? So during this presentation, I'll literally show you step by step on how we do things. But once you hit mastery level, that's when we start really bringing on like additional hires. If that makes sense.
Okay. It's just from 0 to 10K is pretty fast. I'm just kind of like interested in knowing on how that process is, like how does it become that quickly from 0 to 10?
Yeah.
Really
100%.
quickly, because I know business is not an overnight success type of thing, right?
Correct.
Business happens over time. It's not like a get rich quick type of scheme that I know that that's not a realistic standard for him.
Correct. So you're exactly right. It's going to take a lot of work. And 0 to 10K in 4 months, we have individuals that hit it in less. It's going to really depend upon how much priority you put into this thing. Also, industry averages right now for our course, 73% of our students get their first client in month. On average, it takes them just 1 week to do so. So those individuals that are getting their first client in month 1 by the end of month 4 are averaging over 8K per month. The individuals that don't get their first client in month 1, but by the end of month 4 are averaging over 6,500. So just to be a basic mediocre individual and just do the basic amount of work, 6,500 up to 8K is what people are averaging. And right now, that's maximizing, like, think about that, 8K, 96,000, 6,500. That's, I mean, we're currently right now to be just over what you're currently making for your current job, right? But you'll be doing less work. Right now, we have individuals that are hitting 15K a month, working 35 hours per week. So we're going to show you how to maximize your time, make it more efficient. We'll put structures and routines together. But more importantly, we don't expect you to do this on your own. We have a one-on-one coach with you the entire duration. This individual's completed both the 10K and mastery level. So they have a very high level 6 or 7 figure business built off this information, this course. The other thing that we have that's going to be completely different than other courses is once we're averaging about 2 to 3 Zoom calls per week, and we completed the sales modules, you will actually be introduced to your own sales coach as well. So this is going to be someone's going to help maximize those closing calls, get those closing calls bought in at about a 40% clip or greater. So again, overall, we're going to teach you the psychology behind sales and how to maximize that as well. So you're right. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be a lot of time, right? If we can dictate anywhere between 10 to 20 hours per week, you're in a solid spot, right? If you can dictate anything over 20 hours a week, you're in a dangerously great spot. Now, if you can't dictate the 10 to 20 hours, let's just say you can only do 5 to 10 initially, we just have to be more realistic with our overall goals, right? So maybe we're not hitting 10K in 4 or 5 months. It might take us a little bit longer, right? It's really going to be dependent upon how much of a priority you make this. The way this course is designed is every module is set up step by step in a very specific order, where as one module ends, you execute before you move on to the next. So you're actually growing and building your business as you go versus getting information and then you're just left to kind of figure it out on your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you like legitimately step by step. You'll be pretty pleasantly surprised on what you see. We'll actually go over that here in a minute. Outside of that, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Is it going to be like the 3 phases that was on the demo video that you're going to go over?
Yeah, we got 4 phases. Yeah, so we're going to have 4 phases.
Oh, 4 phases. Okay.
Yep. So one's going to be that launch phase where we're really just announcing to the world who we are, what we're about, and we're going to utilize very specific strategies to get your first couple clients right out the gate. Okay. Second phase is we're going to set up all your back-end systems, make sure you're a full legal company. We're going to also identify what problem you solve for individuals. Based upon that, we create our offer and pricing. Then we're going to move into organic marketing, just really how to maximize your overall outreach to individuals. We'll also show you how to do lead generation methods, which we use WhatsApp group for. And then we'll also show you how to close down deals more efficiently. Phase 4 is like the fine tuning everything, really maximizing your sales capabilities, creating consistent delivery systems, but maximizing customer support and client retention to keep people happy for longer periods of time, essentially. And then we'll actually go into the modules themselves so you can see it step by step. There's nothing I'm going to hide from you. You'll see everything completely transparent. The other thing is, it sounds like you did your research, which thank you, by the way, for actually watching all this. There's a lot of individuals that come on the call. They're lost in the sauce. Did you get a chance to check out that 3 times your investment guarantee?
I did not have time to do that. No.
So that's going to be huge too.
I just had only 30 minutes before to research things.
No, 100%, man. Totally get that. But we have what we call a 3 times your investment guarantee. So a lot of companies will have a money back guarantee. We have a 3 times your investment guarantee. So essentially, if you show up to your game planning call, which is pretty standard, attend all of your one-on-one coaching calls, which is only 2 per month, 1 group support call each week, charge at least the bare minimum suggested price of $250 or more for services per client. Don't spend longer than 2 weeks on an optional certification if that's what you want, and no late payments, and run a scholarship strategy within the first 90 days, which is only going to get you a lot of people. We guarantee you will 3 times the amount you invest in, or you get 100% refund back. And there's no one else in the industry offering anything close to that. And year to date, we've helped over 3,000 students. We've only had to return 1.6%, which is crazy. So literally it's designed, if you can actually follow a structured program step by step, you're going to be successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Outside of that, what do you feel like you need from like a business coach or mentor? Are we looking for accountability? Are we looking for a structured game plan? Do you need someone that's very direct? What do you need?
I need a structured game plan, or somebody who's been in the industry longer than I have, and knowing on how to learn from them, and with like an understanding of not. I just don't want to get into somebody that's just like, oh, you're gonna be rich and like within the 3 months you're gonna make so much money. I just want to like give me the process, let me work at it, and money will come later.
100%. I love that you have that mentality, because you're right. This is not a get rich scheme at all. Yes, you can make a lot of money pending the time that you put into it. But again, we're just utilizing the time that you do have available and maximizing that. And we're being realistic with our expectations. So week to week, when you have those biweekly phone calls, so you'll have Zoom calls very similar to this with your coach, you'll get to kind of review areas that you're doing great in, areas that you're struggling, and what we really need to focus on for the upcoming weeks. So they give you step by step, every coaching call, exactly what you need to execute for the upcoming weeks, which will give us a better indication on timeline of where we're at toward generating the type of goals that you're looking for, right? So again, the process is from 0 to 4 months, it's available to hit to 10K. It could happen, right? Depending on how much time you have. Sometimes it'll take 4 to 6 months. It all depends based upon the individual, their learning styles, how quickly they pick up on things as well. But the important factor is you're having community, you're having several one-on-one coaches, and you're being guided the entire time. So you're not left alone in this whole process, right? We want to make sure that we're ensuring your level of success. Now, outside of that, where would you like to see yourself different in the next 4 to 6 months than where you're currently at?
4 to 6 months. Well, right now, in terms of like on what I have planned currently from the 4 to 6 months is what you're asking about?
Yeah, just overall, how do you want your life to look in general? Like if you were to maximize your goals, let's just say we're hitting our goals, we're running a pretty fairly successful business, right? How would life look and feel like in an ideal world for you in the next 4 to 6 months?
More the same. Just keep grinding.
Okay.
I mean, I know you can take breaks and you can enjoy life and have more free time. That's nice. But I guess like in the 4 to 6 months, or where I see myself with this, it's just like doing more of the same, repeating the process, making things better, working on the brand.
Cool. I love that. Improving the process. Cool. How big of a priority is this for you to create this impact online for individuals and yourself? From like a 1 to a 10. 1, it's like, yeah, it's whatever. And 10 is like, man, I was ready yesterday to start this thing.
I'm at a 7 right now.
Okay, cool. What's holding you back from being a 10?
The 10 is the time investment, of course.
Okay.
And then the other parts would be being very new towards this type of industry of online fitness coaching.
Cool. Fair enough. All right. So I'm going to do a quick recap, make sure I got everything, and then we'll dive in. Is that cool? All right, my man. So right now we're a physical assistant. Looks like we've been doing this for 5 years. We work about 40 hours per week. Our main focal point to becoming an online coach is we want to help more individuals become their most optimal versions. Your niche client is someone that was skinny or hard to gain weight. You want to show them healthy habits to put on lean muscle, gain a little bit of weight. Our goal to replace your current job would be 60K a year. So anything over that would be ideal to get you rolling. Our biggest challenge is the setups, lead generation. You're new to the space. So we're kind of trying to figure out really where to start. What you've tried is you've done some research, you've talked into some other individuals, and you've looked into some different programs. What you need is a structured game plan, some guidance, and a step-by-step process. In the next 4 to 6 months, you'd like to actually have this process improved. You want to keep grinding, really add towards your overall brand. And right now we're at a 7 out of 10 just due to the being new to the space and the time that's going to have to be invested. How'd I do?
Yeah, good. It's like you had a script going on.
I just took some old notes, man. So I'm old school. If you see me looking down, I'm all notepad, my man. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go over a high level of what we have to offer. Then we'll deep dive specifically into the modules. Is that cool?
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, my man. Let me know when you can see my screen.
All right. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Perfect. So as you know, we're the Next Level Coaching Academy. We're actually accredited through the Better Business Bureau. So we got a rating of an A out of a possible A+. We're also backed by 3 of the largest certification companies in the world, ACE, NASM, and ISSA. Do you have a certification at all?
My certification is in physical therapist assistant.
Okay, cool. So we actually offer an optional certification for online coaching. It's equal parts fitness, equal parts nutrition at no additional charge. So that'll be something that we can help you out with as well. Now on the success ladder, we've got the 10K accelerator, and then we've got the mastery level coach. Now 10K accelerator is ideal for an individual who is looking to transition from that 9 to 5 or create some massive impact on the online space, might even need a certification. The information in this course can get you from 0 up to 10K per month in as little as 4 months if so desired. Now mastery level is for individuals that are hitting 10K a month on a very consistent basis, but their long-term vision is to get to 100K a month, kind of step into that CEO role and kind of move away from the coaching aspect. So for right now, we're really going to focus on building our foundation. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Our program, again, is broken down into 4 phases, but the first thing we want to do is get you your first couple clients right out the gate. Then we'll establish a solid business foundation. We're going to help you generate leads organically so we can maximize your overall reach. And we'll help develop sales and client retention strategies to help you reach, sustain, and surpass 10K per month. Now, on the support side of things, we talked a little bit about this already, but you'll have an assigned one-on-one coach. That individual went through both programs and they have a high 6 or 7 figure business of their own. You'll have a customized game planning call with that coach to review where you're at, where you want to get to, and the most efficient way to get there. Every 2 weeks, one-on-one coaching, revisit the game plan, make changes, receive feedback, and then get very specific instructions on what you need to execute. And then once you're averaging that 2 to 3 Zoom calls and we completed the sales modules, we'll introduce you to that sales coach. And that's going to be someone that's going to really help maximize your overall return of investment. You'll have bi-weekly roster group coaching calls. You'll have 5 times a week of group support calls that accommodate a current 9 to 5. So this would go over client objection handling, client delivery, lead generation, marketing, mindset issues, and even case studies as well. You'll have 24/5 tech support. So outside of all those game planning calls, you'll be able to text your coach as much as you like, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Becoming a fitness entrepreneur is exciting, but it's also overwhelming at times. So we've created what we call the Zenpreneur method. We help with weekly mindset calls, breath work, and even meditation sessions just to ensure you're always in a good headspace to move forward with your business. As far as the community aspects go, you'll have a private Facebook group. You'll have 24/5 tech support. You'll have the group support calls, and you'll also be eligible for the NLCA live conference that takes place once a year. Resources, you're going to have the course curriculum. You'll have that Zenpreneur method. This will be a game changer for you as well. We'll actually be including done for you programming. So this will save you hours of time. It has drop down menus so you can always kind of customize it based upon that individual. We'll even give you agency outsourcing options when you're ready to make specific changes or enhancements. So content creation, and then you had mentioned earlier, running ads. We'll also offer that optional certification at no additional charge. It's equal parts fitness, equal parts nutrition, 77 questions long. Got to get an 80% or better. It's open book. It's not timed. You can take it as many times as you like. Once you pass, you'll get an email sent directly to you. Any questions on this aspect?
You said for the done for you programming by Evolve Health and Performance, is that a separate company that you guys work with?
So that is actually through one of our mastery level coaches, which is Kayla Diamond. And so these programs are done by Evolve, and they're basically added into our programming for you. So as you're trying to build up your program design takes like hours, right? So we're just trying to do something that will enhance your overall time. The drop down menu, say for instance, if you have an individual that can't back squat, we have different movements for that as well. But overall, they have different intensity techniques already completed for you, rest and reserves, different tempo times, the whole 9. So again, it just makes things a little bit more easier for you so you can really focus on building your overall business versus spending hours on the programming side of things, which is what a lot of individuals had requested when they had these calls with us. Any other questions?
You said there's like weekly group calls. So
Yep.
is that like when everybody comes together and have questions that are always, or like how are those groups ran? Is there somebody that's like the teacher and then there's students, that type of thing?
Yeah, so there'll be weekly Zoom calls, and it'll be like, for instance, there'll be one day will be like a mindset call. So it's all about like different mindset issues. So all these different coaches can like, log in, and then they can hear what that speaker has to say, which is going to be one of our mastery level coaches or a high level coach. And then we also have like stuff over like lead generation, how to sell, things of that nature. So there's always a different topic that you'd know in advance what it's over. And then you'd have a Zoom link that you could log into, so that way you can catch it. Those recordings those meetings are also recorded as well. So if you couldn't make one that you really wanted to, you'd always have access to watch it later as well.
Okay.
Cool. 4 phases. We talked about this earlier, but this is the secret sauce to get you from 0 to 10K. So launching your business, announcing who we are, what we're about, and then utilizing specific strategies to get your first couple clients. Backend systems will take you backend systems on for payment, for client agreements, and for different applications you can utilize for your programming. We'll also make sure that we get your LLC set up, your identification number, all that set up as well. And we'll figure out what problem you solve for individuals based upon those factors. Then we'll create an offer and pricing. Phase 3, developing consistency, teaching organic marketing strategies to overall enhance your reach. We'll teach you community lead generation method, which we use WhatsApp group for. We'll teach you basic sales funnel creations and close down deals more efficiently. And that phase 4, again, is really maximizing the number 1 skill you'll ever be able to learn, which is sales. How can we close down these closing calls at a 40% clip or greater? Really focusing on client delivery systems, but emphasizing that customer support and client retention to keep people wanting to come back again and again and again. Any questions on that?
So far so good in terms of trying to keep up.
Okay. Let me know. Go ahead and stop me at any point in time. If I'm talking too fast, just be like, Jeremy, stop. I need to ask you a question. Cool?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Now this is the actual inside of our modules. It's 32 total modules. Each module will have an overview link. It'll also be associated with a video. Both the link and the videos are tutorial style as well. Okay. So the first step in becoming a full-time coach, we had talked about implementing strategies right out the gate. Also, cool thing about this is the resources we provide for you, the majority of them are already done for you. So it makes our time more efficient. The 10K Accelerator Directory, I want you to view this as onboarding material that'll help you become a better student. It really shows you how to maximize the program to its fullest capabilities. The roadmap is broken up into 2 phases. What do we need to get from 0 to 5K? What do we need to do to get from 5 to 10? So you'll always know exactly what to do. Based upon your specific goals, we want to create daily and evening routines. And then also fear of failure, anxiety, imposter syndrome. All those things are natural, normal feelings, but how can we move forward with our business? That's what the mindset and lifestyle module is about. And then we've also identified the top 10 struggles you'll face as a fitness entrepreneur, but we've provided solutions to each and every one of these. As far as your backend systems go, this is where things get interesting. Have you heard of ChatGPT or have you utilized it yet?
Of course.
Yeah, it's like Google on steroids, high power virtual assistant. We're going to show you how to maximize this for SOPs, for resources, for even workouts and programming. Backend systems, Waiver, Stripe for payments, DocuSign for client agreements, Typeform, Calendly to book calls and apps for you. And then we also utilize True Coach or Trainerize to load up all of your programming, all of your nutrition into one spot to customize it for your individuals. Now, to give you some context on the overview link, if you click on this, this will literally take you step by step in written tutorial style. So if you can follow instructions and know how to read, easy, right? Step by step for the entire module. Now, if you were gonna watch these videos, this will also tell you step by step. Let's just pretend you're gonna set up Wave for payments. You'll click on here. That's simple. So for me, I'm a visual learner. I usually watch the video first, then go back and read the material. That way, it made the learning process a little bit easier for me. Same thing for your financial systems. So we're actually going to show you how to set up your LLC, get your employment identification number, when to open up a business bank account, when to pay quarterly taxes, when to pay yourself. Oops, hold on, right there. How to track what's coming in and out of your business, how to pay quarterly taxes, how to pay yourself, business write-offs, business liability insurance, health insurance. Now, the cool thing about this is if you were to set up your LLC the traditional way, it takes roughly 2 to 3 weeks. We're partnered with an AI company called Taylor Brands. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes to set up all your business legalities. So it's a fraction of the time. It makes things a lot more efficient. Target setting, we're going to create your 3-year vision, your 1-year vision, your 3-month vision. We're going to deep dive into your specific goals. And then based upon that, we're then going to start figuring out who your ideal client is or what problem you solve. Based upon what problem you solve, we can then create our offer and pricing. So is this going to be a more do it for you, do it with you, or do it yourself program? The more that you do for individuals, the higher the ticket offer. That high ticket offer will be established upon your length of terms. So we'll teach you how to create high ticket offers and help the structure of your overall pricing. From there, organic marketing, we're going to show you how to do 1 hour's worth of content and get 14 different pieces created out of that through AI software. So it just splices up, makes things a lot more efficient. We're also going to show you how to maximize your overall message and reach by setting up podcasts and YouTube. We want more people to know who you are and what you're about. And then we'll also show you how to market for all things Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok related. So it's more than just randomly posting. More than just randomly posting. There's very specific strategies and resources that we include all the way down to the hashtag use. And then same thing for TikTok as well. We'll show you how to maximize this and get more client engagement and get more people coming to you. Content creation made easy. We'll introduce you to Canva Basic, Canva Pro, and Microsoft Designer. Great editing features. We want you to think of your social media as like a storefront. So think if you're out shopping, something attracts you to want to go into that store. We want to give that same type of feel and effect to individuals that go past your social media. Really good for like logo design as well. 10K lead generation framework, three different ways we do this. The first of which is what we call earned media. We'll show you how to set up a WhatsApp group, why it's important, who we're going to be targeting, and how it's going to benefit your business. And then we'll also give you specific strategies to get people in the door that want to raise their hand and reach out to you first. Opposite side of that is what we call conversation and calls. This is outbound marketing. This is you reaching out to individuals first. So we'll give you specific scripts. We'll give you conversation and call examples, but more importantly, we're going to show you where to find all these leads on all 3 platforms, how to build and nurture these relationships. And now that we have that WhatsApp group set up, we have these people talking with people that you currently serve. So it's a much more warmer lead by the time they get on that sales call with you. They feel like there's a trust, and we know how to have a more intimate one-on-one conversation. From there, we're going to move into referrals. That's the easiest way to grow your business. Friends, families, coworkers talking about how amazing you are. We'll give you strategies and resources to incentivize them to bring you more referrals without actually having to ask. Now, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to be great at sales. So we're going to teach you how to maximize your sales skills and teach you the psychology of that. And then we'll set up 2 types of phone calls. The first is a meet and greet. It's like a screening call. It's a 10 to 15 minute phone call to figure out if you really want to work with that individual and if you can solve their problems. The closing call is when we're trying to lock them down and turn them into an actual client. So we'll give you specific scripts. We'll give you our entire objection handling web. We'll teach you how to create downsells and discounts. This will be a game changer. Understanding how to create financing options for individuals who normally couldn't afford it, and then how to lock them down once and for all. Once we lock them down, we want to go back and track all this. We want to track how many calls were booked, how many showed, how many closed, and at what length of term. So we'll give you strategies and resources to track this efficiently. We want predictable data every single month. Objection handling is all the excuses you're going to get in the online platform. So we give you our 30 different examples as to what people be saying to you time and time again. So the more that we can familiarize ourselves with this, the easier it is to overcome these objections on that call. Onboarding process, probably the most overlooked area by coaches and trainers. It's your first 30 days in your program. So this will make or break if someone wants to continue with you. This is where trust, standards, and expectations are created. We want to make sure we get them some resources in their hands in that first 24 to 48 hours while we're building out their programs. Client delivery is the fun stuff. Week-to-week process and how you deliver services, but we'll teach you how to do this more efficiently utilizing the newest software. And then no matter how good of a coach you are, this is going to happen. Someone's going to ghost you. Someone's not going to listen. Someone's going to quit. It's inevitable. But usually there's a reason behind that. Some people want a larger community base. Some want more individualized touch points with you. Some want challenges. Some want gifts. So we'll give you resources and strategies to get people to want to execute at a higher level on a more consistent basis. Customer support, the not so fun side of things, how to deal with cancellations, refund requests, how do we track it, how do we mitigate it for the upcoming months? And then lastly, client retention. How can we keep people happy for long periods of time, but advance them to higher levels of your programming? So we'll give you strategies and resources on how to track that. Any questions so far?
Not at the moment, no.
Cool, let's do a quick recap. The program itself is going to be 4 months long. You're going to have a customized game planning call with your coach. You're going to have that one-on-one coach the entire 4 months. You have one-on-one coaching calls every 2 weeks. You'll have a sales coach. the Facebook community and CEO trainings with Chad, 5 times a week of group support calls that accommodate a 9 to 5, 24/5 tech support, done for you programming and optional certification, and the business course curriculum. Is there anything you feel like we're missing here?
No, but I did have a question actually.
Yeah.
For the WhatsApp group, because I know it seems like that's like the main platform to communicate between clients and all that stuff. Is that the main platform, or can you use other platforms so like Discord or other communication?
You can use different platforms. We're just suggesting the ones that we have noticed that have been working the best as of recently. So WhatsApp is really good. So if you don't want to give out your personal cell phone information, you want to be able to network with other individuals in your group. So say for instance, if you have a WhatsApp group with your coach, you'll be able to answer questions, and those individuals can answer your questions as well that are further along. The private Facebook group is going to be another platform that's really extremely valuable that a lot of people don't utilize enough. When I went through the course, I went through that private Facebook group all the time. So I'd ask questions on there as well. I'd get different perspectives. It was really great for me to kind of see what other people were doing, because it wasn't just, this level, it was also advanced level coaches answering my questions as well. So it was extremely helpful. But yeah, you can utilize like different types of apps or groups based upon what's working for you. We're just giving you like what we have seen that work the best so far.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool. What else you got for me?
For the, what was the question again? I had coffee earlier, so my brain is kind of working. For the different platforms for like posting, I saw Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, those type of things. In going through the modules, do I need to create a separate account for those? Or is it just like here is some tips on how you can post on Instagram or posting on TikTok or posting on these social media platforms?
Yeah, great question. You will not want to make a separate account because there's already people that follow you, like you, love you, and trust you. So we're going to show you how to maximize that reach now and still introduce what you're currently doing to drive those people who already trust you and like you into possibly wanting to do business with you as well, right? So we're just going to expand your overall reach. We're going to gain more traction, more followers, but yes, as well, we're going to show you exactly how to attract those individuals, what tips really work, what you need to be doing on a regular basis to maximize those leads. The other thing I want you to think about when we're going onto social media platforms, don't just only think about inboxing. Think about your local community. So if you're really well known in your local community, like if you have a ton of people that really like you at your physical therapy place, we want to maximize that. Right. So for instance, I'm partnered with a local supplement company out here. I have all my clients on some specific supplementation based upon their goals. And not everyone's obviously from where I'm from, right? So that supplement company will give me 30 referrals a month because I'm supporting their business. So anyone going to a supplement company already has health and fitness goals. Those are much more warmer leads for me because if they're already calling me, I'm closing those down easily over 40%. And then I also do free seminars for my wife. She's a healthcare provider. So I'll go into her job or different places, do like a 15 to 20 minute seminar, and I'll get 15 referrals off that as well. So I'm utilizing the people that I already know my family or know me, so I can really maximize my overall potential and keep on getting referrals. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. What else you got for me?
I know there's like, because I was also looking at the certification.
Mm-hmm.
You said it's an accredited certification from the NCAA, not NCAA, or like from, I forgot what it was called, but from the personal trainer accreditation. What was the accreditation that you said?
Yeah, so essentially our program is backed by ACE, NASM, and ISSA. So say for instance, you had one of those 3 certifications, that would be continuing education credits. Now, if you wanted the optional certification, it's certification through NLCA. However, those other certification companies view us as continuing education credits. So it's not just like your
okay,
basic.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we're essentially saying as well that these top-notch certifications view us as a reputable source for continuing education. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
So the certification.
I thought it was okay. I see. I thought it was like a major certification of like ACE or NASM.
Nope, we're just an extension. So essentially they just view us as, hey, these guys are legit. Now, when you get to mastery level, there'll be a mastery level certification. That's pretty dope because that's when things get even more integral. So we're talking about gut health. We're talking about Dutch testing. We're talking about advanced level supplementations, a whole bunch of different stuff, which is really cool. That's when things get really interesting. What other stuff do you got for me?
I was kind of looking up also like the success clients also. On YouTube, it's under the same, like, what was it? YouTube account. There's like a YouTube account where they had like multiple people saying like, hey, I successfully went through this program. Is there any way that I'm able to kind of look at their page, like where they started, how they, like their success stories, instead of like a 30-second like blip of like what they've done or how, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can give you
Is there anything more
our
in depth?
IG. Yeah, I can give you our IG page as well. So you can like look at all those people because there'll be like little tabs where we'll show the coaches as well. And we'll also give you an indication on like some of the like individual client success rates as well.
Okay.
So I can give you that. And then also just want to go over this with you really quick. Did you get a chance to go did you get a chance to go over any testimonials?
No, I did not.
Okay, so let me just share a couple with you. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to share about two from two different ends of the spectrum. This is Karina. So she was only making about $2K a month previously. Her goal was she just wanted to spend more time with her kids and travel. She didn't want this massive empire. Very similar to you, she didn't really care so much about the money, but she was looking for financial stability and more time with her kiddo. So this first tattoo indicates when she started in LCA. Bottom tattoo indicates when she quit her job. After 6 months, she was collecting 10 to 12K months on a regular basis. She's now hitting 15K a month, works 35 hours a week, travels. She's a one-woman show, kind of doing her own thing, living her best life. Now, on the opposite end of that, you're going to have someone like Zach. Zach was an in-person trainer, making about 40 to 50K a year. His main focal point was he did want to create something much bigger. He 15 times his income. He started in June 2021. He's now a 7-figure earner. He has a whole team underneath him as well. So these are all different coaches as well. Now on the Jen Richards is also one of our mastery level coaches. So she had already started like an online fitness business in 2015, and she was also a physician's assistant. She started with us in 2021, and now she's hitting 100K months on a regular basis. So this is Jen. This is her husband, Darren, and she has a whole staff size of 12. So it can relatively move as fast as you want based upon our priority that you put into it, but she's a 7-figure earner. So killing it. And these are all people that you can also see on our Instagram page as well. I can also send you over some testimonials, but this is what leads into this. I want to show you the averages, like what the basic student does, not our top tier, but our basic individuals. I mentioned this one earlier. 73% of our students sign their client month 1. On average, it takes them just 1 week to do so. So that was a huge deal. And if you recall, the ones that get their first client month 1 are ending the month 4 by averaging over 8K per month. The individuals that don't get their client month 1, over 6,500. Of the students who hit a 10K month, it takes them just 13 weeks on average to do so. So think about that. Just over 90 days, individuals are hitting 10K months, moving into a completely different tax bracket. Now, kind of just factoring in, setting our expectations real, where I don't have any certifications, that might take a little bit longer than 13 weeks, right? So you're new to the space, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting our certification in, which should only take 2 weeks, but you wouldn't be just spending 2 weeks only on the certification. You might spend 30 minutes a day on the cert, but spend like an hour on the actual building your business aspect. So you're building and growing at the same time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You say, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then of the students that stay with us 12 months, they have 97 clients on their roster on average. Those individuals, the 97 clients, are averaging $366,000 a year. Now, when you're at 97 clients, you're not a one-man show, right? So roughly you can expect to average anywhere between 30 to 60 clients on your own. And then that's when we're going to start talking about bringing on some more individuals to hire. Because at that point in time, you definitely be in the mastery level group. So usually when you're hitting about 8 to 10K pretty consistently, you'll have the option to ascend into mastery level. And then right now, our students are grading the program a 4.6 out of 5 on average. Any questions on the averages?
What was the average on the percentage of beginners that have not had any prior experience in the online fitness industry?
So a large amount of those individuals are going to take up the bulk of it. The majority of the phone calls I get, these are people that have not been trainers. They don't have any experience on the online at all, or some of them have been in-person training like me. I'm a master level trainer for over 15 years. I started with NLCA probably a year and a half ago. And at that point in time, it wasn't 10K accelerated because a year and a half ago, there wasn't AI and chat GPT. But a lot of individuals are like me to where they knew how to run a business in person, but they didn't know how to do it online because it's a completely different animal when you're selling online versus in person, also having like payment structures set up and, you know, client agreements, completely different. So the large chunk of individuals don't have any experience in this space. Now, actual percentages, I don't know that. I'd have to ask. I don't know that.
That's okay. That's all right.
What else do you got for me?
That one was my major one in terms of like the percentage of the beginners that you guys have worked with, or like people like me.
Yeah, like I'm being dead honest. Majority of my phone calls are with people that are completely brand new to the online space. So to give you an example, I have a ton of experience training. However, when I was training in person, I had 40 clients I trained a week. I was training them 2 to 3 times a week, charging $150 a session. So I was making great money, but I was working from like 4:30 in the morning to about 8:30 at night. And there was usually like a 2 or 3 hour gap in the middle of the day. So I was making great money, but I didn't have like a smooth payment process system down. Then I got with these guys. They kind of showed me how to structure my business, and I was able to learn how to start pushing people to the online space so I could reduce my overall client load. Now I'm full-time online now, but that took me, in order for that transition to take place from where I was, I'd say by my program was about 4 months long. Back then it was called apprenticeship. I'd say about 4.5 month mark, I was hitting 10K, and now I'm hitting 12 to 15 on a regular basis. I work about 35 hours a week. And I also do this job as well. So, and my wife's in healthcare. So we have 3 streams of income coming in. So I was completely new, and it took me about 4.5 months. But the reason why it took me a little bit, an additional half a month longer, is I had over 40 people I had to transition off, which was a lot of time.
Yes.
So my goal, my personal goal was I didn't want to have a massive empire. I didn't want to hit 50K a month. I didn't want 100K, 100K a month either. It sounds attractive, but when you're making that type of money, there's a lot more responsibility.
Yes, I agree.
Me and my wife just wanted to travel, man. So like for us, we got a kind of cool story. 6-7 months ago, we went to Costa Rica. I pulled 2 international clients, not even trying. I was working out in a gym. People asked me some questions. I did a quick consultation, and I signed some people up on a beach, man. Like that's how easy it can happen once you have your systems in place. But our whole goal was we just want to travel. So every couple months we'll go somewhere else and travel. Once a year we take our kids somewhere as well, and that way our business is running, but I don't have to like overlook a ton of people. So that was my personal goal. Everyone's goal is different.
Yeah. How old is the program, or like when did it start?
Yeah, Chad started his own thing, I want to say back in 2015, and then NLCA became in about 2020. So in the last 3 years, they've scaled completely different from when it originated. So when Chad figured out kind of the secret sauce and how this worked, that's when he created NLCA. And from there, that's when we've helped like just about over 3,000 students in that time. Cool thing about this too, if you're really looking at it, I'm pretty sure you probably know what the Better Business Bureau is, correct?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. So a lot of individuals or a lot of programs don't have that backing. So it's like essentially like a grading scale for legitimate businesses. And on the online space, it's really hard to figure out at times who's legit and who's not. But to have a rating of an A out of a possible A+ is a pretty big deal. And then the cool thing too is anyone that has a complaint, we leave those complaints up, and they actually get researched. We haven't lost a single petition yet on those. So if you go onto our page, we go to the Better Business Bureau, there might be like maybe 4 or 5 complaints out of 3,000 people. That's a pretty good standard. right? So we haven't lost a single investigation. And then more importantly, man, those certification companies are also backing us as well. So I'm sure you're pretty much aware, know who NASM, ACE, ISSA, all those guys are. Those are the big hitters in the industry.
And then Chat GPT kind of got very popular recently. When did you guys add that to your curriculum?
Yeah, so that just got put in. So ChatGPT got hot. I'd say maybe like what, 3 months ago, 3.5, 4 months ago is really when it really popped onto the scene. So roughly right after that, we started implementing. That's the cool thing about this program. Let's just say something else pops up that's going to be the next hottest thing. We find a way to always implement it and upgrade the program. So it's never just one continuous program. We're always adding updates as, the newest trends happen as well. We were one of the first ones to actually employ that, as well as AI into our program as well. So we also teach you not just ChatGPT, but ChatGPT 4 is a lot faster than ChatGPT in general is amazing, but ChatGPT 4 is like a whole nother level of stupid, man. Like, it's crazy. It's almost scary what it can do. But we actually teach you how to utilize that as well. There's like a whole section on how to maximize that.
Okay.
So all those programs only go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead first. It's just a follow-up.
Yeah, so those programs, ChatGPT, have probably been only out for about 4 to 5 months. So we've had them since I'd say like a month or two after they came out.
Mm-hmm. So like with things like changing constantly, so after, like, when the program is done, like you go through the whole thing of the curriculum, do you keep your students in the same like private Facebook group, or are they done with that? Like, what things are still standalone, or like what things are still kind of like ongoing, or is it end right after you're done with your program?
No, great question. So on any of those modules, on those overview links, when you click on those, they automatically save to your Google Docs. So essentially you'll have all those overviews forever, right? Unless you just deleted them out. So you'd have that. The other thing is, the goal is after 4 months or whatever, if you're at a point, the whole point is to hopefully get you ascended into mastery level where you're ready to go to that next level and scale up. If you're not, we do have what we call resigns available, and our courses are offered at a significantly discounted rate if you wanted additional support until you're ready to go to that next level. Okay. So as far as private Facebook groups after 4 months, you wouldn't have eligibility for that. But if you wanted that additional support, they could work something out for you for like a small fee, not just for the private Facebook group, but just to maybe add maybe a month-to-month services if that's something you felt like you needed. But for the most part, you shouldn't, because those things are already saved to your computer storage. So a lot of companies will be like, oh, well, you'll have ongoing one-on-one support. The problem with that is they're not telling you how much support you're really getting, or if you're going to have that consistent coach. The other thing is, you shouldn't need ongoing support if you're being taught the right way. You should be always getting to that next level. Just as if you were coaching an individual with it programming, or when you're doing therapy, you don't want that person stuck in one program forever. You want to eventually progressively get them better and better each month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be
I guess what I'm getting at is with everything involving and being able to have networking involved, that's where I was getting towards, like that community group that you were talking about. Does that cease to exist, or should you just kind of like ask for their information when kind of interacting with other students?
Yeah, so that's something that you'll do even from day one. So like, let's say for instance, me and you popped up on a Facebook group and you saw a lot of the stuff that I was posting or questions, and you're like, man, I like what he has to say. We start going back and forth. All of a sudden, me and you are like, hey, do you mind if I friend request you? You got some great knowledge. And then all of a sudden we're building that network, right? You're doing that ongoing, right? But after the 4 months, would you have that continuously private Facebook group or the WhatsApp group? No, not unless you were continuing the program, right?
Okay.
All right, but in the meantime, you are able to reach out to those individuals, exchange numbers. I've done that tons of times with different people.
Okay. Yeah, that answers that question. Thank you.
Okay, cool. What else you got?
That's all I have for right now.
Let me ask you a couple questions. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
Man, first of all, I want to thank you for how prepared you were for this call. And you are probably one of 5 people I've actually talked to that had really great questions, like very thought through questions. So I appreciate your time and really taking this serious. So that was pretty dope. First question though for you now. I know we looked over a ton of stuff. Do we feel like this is in complete alignment with what you're looking for?
It is.
Cool. So let me ask you this. Are you 100% confident that this would get you the results that you're looking for if you followed through and utilized our resources and additional help and one-on-one support?
If we're going back to that 0 to 10 scale on what you mentioned earlier about the readiness from before, I would say like I'm at least like 10% more confident. Like, so I'm like an 8 out of 10 at the moment.
Okay. So what do you feel like at this point in time now is holding you back from that last 20%?
I have a vacation plan, so I have no time to commit to all the modules within the time frame that you said. So I'd be missing a week. So I can't start right away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So when's your vacation?
My vacation is in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Cool. Where are you headed, by the way?
I'm going to LA.
LA?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So we got a couple different things. Do you mind if I challenge you a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So you're on vacation. What if are you flying? Are you driving? What does that look like?
I'm flying.
Cool. So do you think that literally you could spend just 30 minutes a day popping in a module?
Hopping in a module.
So
It'll be less than ideal of like what I just want to not do work for now.
Sure, that makes 100% sense. Now let me ask you this. What if this was everything that you wanted, it gets you the results that you're looking for, and the only thing that's holding you back right now is that vacation? What if we just did a delayed start?
A delayed start?
Yeah, which means after vacation, you're up and running. There's no distractions. We feel a whole hell of a lot more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Would that get you to that 90 or 100%?
It would, but let's talk numbers in terms of like price points. Of course, I wish I had an unlimited bank account. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about like what your pricing is, and we can go from there.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we'll have a payment plan or we'll have a paid in full option. Okay, so payment plan means we put down a down payment, we spread the rest out over 4 months. Paid in full just means we pay the whole thing up front. We save a significant amount of money. Now, regardless of where you're at financially, regardless of what you got in the bank, we have extended payment plans, we have financing options as well. So if this is something that you had mentioned is in 100% alignment with you, I definitely can work something in your favor. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Cool.
So if we're talking about how you're able to work in my favor, so how would you go about that? So if we're talking about this payment plan, what is the strategy that you have for me?
Yep. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down what the cost is for both. Okay. Based upon that, you'll let me know which option you're probably leaning to, whether it be a payment plan or a paid in full. And then from there, if you're like, hey, Jay, I don't know about this, that's when I start working out terms for you that I can figure something out where we get resourceful together. We figure out something that makes sense for you, but makes sense for the company as well. Does that make sense?
Okay. Is that something that we can talk about now or something that I have to commit to?
No, bro. We're going to talk about this now. You can't commit to something if you don't know the answer to it, right? You got to make sure this works for you.
Yeah.
You ready to talk about it?
Yes.
All right, man, let's do it. It's only $100,000 and you're left kidding me. I'm just playing.
All right, that with that, I can't afford that.
No, I'm playing, man.
You can't sell me on that.
No, there's a payment plan of $7,300 and then a paid in full option of $6,500 that saves you $800. Out of those two, which do you think works best for you?
So I don't have paid in full for that much. So at the moment, I would have to be, the only option I have would be the payment plan.
Cool. Let's talk about that because that's what the majority of individuals do. The majority of people do payment plan. Okay. So I'm going to give you some basics or some averages and we can just work from there. Okay. So the first one I'll do is I'll tell you what the average individual will put down if they're going to do a payment plan. Usually they'll put down about 2,300. That'll take that remaining 7,300 down to 5,000. You spread 5,000 out by 4 months or divide it by 4. Your payments are just over 1,200 per month, which is equivalent to you needing about 3 to 5 clients per month, depending what you're charging. Okay, so that's an option. Or you could take that 7,300 and you could literally just divide it into 4 equal payments, and that would be 1,825 per month.
I see.
Out of those, which do you think works best for you?
So it seems like you get a down payment, then you have to spread that out in terms of how much you pay for month to month, correct?
Yep. So for instance, if the price was 7,300, let's just pretend on a hypothetical, you put down 2,300. So that leaves 5,000. We're going to take 5,000. We're going to divide that by 4. That's going to give you 1,250 per month. Okay. Now, if you want to work it to where it's under 1,000, what we could do is take that and spread it out over 6 months instead of 4, which buys you a little bit more time. So your course would be done in 4 months, but you still have 2 months remaining on the payment plan. So let's just pretend that you put down, let's just say 7,300, or let's say if you want it under 1,000, this would how this would work. Let's just say you put down 7,300 minus, let's just say 2,500. That brings 4,800. Divide that by 6, or divide that by 5 months remaining. That'd be 960 a month, which is like you needing 2 to 3 clients, depending on what you're charging.
Is there any options in terms of like loan investment forms or anything that you guys have lined up to kind of like help with those blunt the upfront costs?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. How good's our credit? Good, bad, great, awesome, amazing. What's it look like?
It's good.
Cool. When you're saying good, are we 600, 700s? Where are we at?
I'm sitting around somewhere around 650 to 700.
Cool. So I got a couple of different options for you. One is going to be dependent upon your debt to income ratio, and then also how long you've established that credit. Okay. That one's called Fund My Contract. And what that allows us to do is we take that 7,300 and we take it into much smaller payments. The cool thing about this is if you get approved for it, it would be 6 to 12 months, same as cash. So let's just pretend that you got 6 months, same as cash. Okay. So there's a guy literally 2 days ago that got approved for an 84-month loan. His monthly payments was like $166 a month, which is cool. But if he pays that off before 6 months, the overall loan, it's same as cash. There's no interest. Okay. So that's a really good option. We can try that one out. The one that you should definitely get approved for is called Sweet Pay. And it takes our 7,300. We divide that over 12 months instead of 4 or 6. And it's only 5% down. So 5% down would be 360. Let me tell you the exact points of that. So 7,300 times 0.05, that'd be 365 plus a one-time service activation fee of $59. So to get going on a hypothetical today would be 424. Your next payment wouldn't be due until the end of July, which would be equivalent to 622 per month, which is you needing literally 2 clients if you're charging the bare basics.
The Sweet Pay, you said sweep, like sweep before?
Like sweet, like it tastes sweet. Sweet Pay. Okay. Yep, Sweet Pay. So for one, if you want, we can see if you get approved for the Fund My Contract. You want to try that out? The cool thing about that one too is there's no payment for 30 days. It doesn't.
What was that one again? Sorry.
That one was called Fund My Contract. So if you want to see if that one gets approved, I can actually share my screen. We can go over it. It won't affect your credit at all, but it does let us indicate what we got approved. So we actually have an idea of what playing cards we have at our hands.
With Sweet Pay, it's you have to put 5% down at least. Can I put more, or is there a limitation towards that?
No, obviously the more you put down, the less your reoccurring amount is, but that's just the minimum down. So it helps individuals that either have good credit, bad credit, great credit, but it allows you just to put down a minimum down just to get going.
Is the do you know how much the APY is, or not APY?
Typically
for Sweet Pay, it's a 12-month. Yeah, APR, not APY.
Yeah, so what I've seen is they vary, but the ones I typically see are right around 14 or 15%, which is significantly less than a credit card. Credit cards are usually 18.99%. So again, if you use something like that, Yeah, you're looking at a little bit of APR, but if you're talking about the grand scheme of things, we have that 3
Mhm.
times your investment guarantee. So if you 3 times the amount you're making, best case scenario, you're making over 21,000 in 4 months. Worst case scenario, you do everything you're supposed to, you get your money back.
Okay.
And that's the same thing with the payment plan as well. Like you don't have to put down 23 or 2,500. I'm just giving you a number that makes it less invasive for like your reoccurring amount, right? So
So if I do a late, because you said that there's like a late start I'm able to kind of work with, right?
yep. So for instance, if we're going to do a late start, one would really be good if we got approved for the Fund My Contract. You essentially would get, if you got approved, it'd take about 3 days for the bank to give us the full amount of the 7,300. You don't have any payments due for 30 days. So for instance, if we put a delayed start date, it's not going to affect you any, besides your next payment will be in 30 days, right? Which is going to be very minimal. Now, if we did the sweep pay route, there's really no delayed start date on that, because if once you get approved, we put that down payment, it kicks in right away, right? So you could do like a 2-week or a 3-week delayed start if you wanted, but you're still going to be getting billed by the end of July.
Okay.
If you do a normal payment plan, if we find out an option there, we could do a delayed start and you won't have anything due at all. So you'd have the down payment and then we just have a delayed start until you actually begin. And then your
But
next
in
payment,
terms of, yeah, but in
go ahead.
terms of like of what you guys offer is only for the 4 to 6 months, nothing higher.
No, just for us with no financing, we'll go 4 to 6 months. The other thing I could do for you, if you're in a good spot, for instance, we could take that paid in full and turn it into a split. So if you were willing to put down, half, you could have 60 days from your actual start date to pay that off. So if that looked like it is, we put down half today. Let's just pretend your start date wasn't until, let's just say August 1st. Okay. You wouldn't have your second payment due until 60 days from your actual start date. So that buys you significant amounts of time.
I see. Alrighty. Because I have to do some calculations on my financing like standpoint before like I put any type of money down. As you know, like I have to know on what my cost is versus on how much I can afford versus what I can make am able to spend.
For sure.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Because yes, I'm interested. I don't want to make you feel like I know I'm like kind of buying a car. This is kind of like the same type of process. You're trying to buy out now versus later, right? So because I know from what I'm understanding, if I do the late start, I still have to pay that month to month before I even start the program.
No. So for instance, you put a down payment. If you're not doing any type of financing, you're only going through us, you just put down a down payment. There's nothing due at all. So for instance, you put down hypothetically like, yeah, Jeremy, I want to start, but I want a delayed start date as of August. For us to lock you in at that lower rate, because the courses change on a regular basis, but that we lock you in at that lower rate, you put down the down payment, you don't owe anything until after your initial start date. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I put the down payment and I needed to start around like August or later or whatever the time, then no, like I would have to owe once I start onto that time. Yeah.
Correct. So you put the down payment down today. Let's just pretend August. Let's just say pretend August 1 was your start date. At the end of August, your next payment would be due.
That makes sense.
So I'm not gonna tack you money now, and then you have a delayed start date, and then once you start, you owe me another payment again. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Yeah. So with the I wish I talked to you soon, like later, where I'm more financially prepared. I'm more prepared in terms of like talking to you about like what you guys offer. Because like I was just trying to kind of get to the end part of what you guys have in terms of how much the actual program is, which is great that you guys have all these payment plans and stuff. I think I would probably be more suitable for the over like the 12-month period instead of having even with like the delayed start. That would be hard on me financially to even try to make ends meet and put food on my table, et cetera, et cetera. 5%. Sorry if I'm like taking up your time. You're okay
No,
on time?
man, no, brother, you are good. Ask as many questions.
Okay. So if I were able, because sooner or later because rent is my big financial burden at the moment, and currently I'm trying to relieve that by moving out and having like a roommate. Um, so at the moment, I'm going to be having a roommate around April. Am I able to kind of like have that delayed that late of a delayed start, or is that too much of a thing to ask for?
No, I mean, you can do it. Typically what they want to do is usually want to have a delayed start date for maybe tops 1 to 2 months, right? So think about this. I want you to think about the averages. So right now, the average individual gets their first client in week 1. The other thing I want you to think about
Yeah.
too is think about the months that we're in. So we're just now coming up to the 4th of July. We're finishing up like the warm season where people are very cognizant of their bodies. They want to make those changes. They're more apt to following a routine. And then once we hit about November, December, that's where we're going to hit another hot point because people are going to have going through those, New Year's resolutions coming up, right? I want to lose weight or I want to gain weight. I want to look good, right? So I want us to take advantage of those things, but more importantly, have all your systems set up. So even if we're just making slow, progressive changes, you're still working towards a betterment of your overall business. So right now, what are we in? You said April, we are in July, August, September. So you're talking about almost 7 months.
Yeah, because I need to cut costs somewhere in order for me to be able to afford this comfortably.
Okay, get that. So if we did sweet pay, do you feel like 622 a month?
That's still a lot.
Cutting it? Still cutting it?
That's cutting a lot actually.
Let's see.
That's my kidney.
Okay, that's your kidney. I got you. Cool. Let me ask you this. Do you have PayPal credit?
PayPal credit. What does that mean? No.
Do you have a PayPal account?
Say no. I do, but I don't use it often.
Okay, because what we could do is we can go to paypal.com/credit, hit apply, and we're going to figure out if you get approved for a line of credit. And that one is very similar to 6 months, same as cash. As long as we pay off whatever you get approved for it, and if you decide to use it before 6 months, it's interest free. So again, the course itself is 4 months long. We'd be able to pay that off significantly beforehand. Sometimes you get approved, sometimes you don't. But it's worth checking out to see what we get approved for. So you'll sign in your PayPal first, then you'll go to paypal.com/credit and then hit apply. It takes about 2 minutes. You'll get an email saying you either got approved for a line of credit of this or you didn't get approved.
But I'd still be in the same situation of I need to pay this X amount before 6 months before interest
Correct.
is included. So I'm still having, because even with like a 300 increase in my month to month with my rent currently being at 1,400, I would still not be able to make rent and be able to pay for my month to month in order to have my obligations with you guys.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you want the one-on-one accountability, or do you think you could execute a game plan if you just had all the structure and the game plan laid out for you?
I think both is optimal, having like the accountability and the game plan. If I were to have one and pick and choose, I would say the game plan would be nice.
So ideally, you're right. If you can do the coaching, like with the whole group and all that stuff, you're going to maximize your potential. Now, if you went with just course only, you wouldn't have the certification aspect to it, but you would have the whole course to where you're just going on your own timeline. There is no set timeline after form. You just have your own, you have the course. Okay. So that's significantly cheaper. Right. So, but ideally, if you're someone that thrives off of community and structure, like you want to be taught by someone that's actually been through it, then you're going to want that one-on-one support, especially with that sales coach as well, to really lock that in. Now, we could look at that fund my contract, because that is going to get you in significantly lower if you get approved for it, like significantly lower.
So when you say significantly lower, on average, like what are you talking about?
So pending what you get approved for, you get anywhere between like a 12, 24, 36, 48, 84-month loan. So you could get it as low as, you know, if you got approved for that 84-month loan, it could be $166. Interest is going to be very comparable. It's going to be a little bit higher. However, it's a small inconvenience to 3 times what you're currently making. So you just got to ask yourself, do you currently want to reside in this current circumstance where we're trying to figure out how to make ends meet? Or do we want to take action based upon really where we see ourselves? So the top coaches, the top entrepreneurs, they're quick decision makers. They rarely change their mind, if ever. Is that first decision always the absolute best all times? No, but they commit to it and they find a way to make those things happen. Individuals that will over-research, over-analyze, and take significant time rarely commit. They change their mind constantly. So they're always stuck in that perpetual state. So you got to think about, how do I want to take action based upon where I see myself, or do I take action based, or do I not take action based upon my current circumstance? So I wouldn't tell you anything I don't do. Coaches use coaches. Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, insert any great athlete, they all utilize coaches, and they don't stop because they hit a championship. They actually keep on investing in coaches so they can always reach optimal performance. Okay. So when I had a coach, could I really afford it at one point in time? No, but did I know I needed it to get to the level I wanted to get to? Yes. So I held myself accountable and I figured out and got more resourceful. So yes, rent, we got to keep rent as where it's at. But as far as like maybe thinking about what do we do, like how often do we go out to eat? Can we start like divvying out resources and putting it more closer to something that's going to give us a return on investment, or just something that's purely an expense, right? So you got to kind of figure out, would this be worth becoming Eric 2.0 if you're able to impact more people, do what you love to do while still having a really great physician's assistant practice? Do you think that would be worth it?
Sure. It is, but I'm in my thinking, I have to think about my circumstances.
Sure.
Because I know you're kind of like not taking no for an answer. For like trying to make things work, or it's just right now. If I were a definite yes, and I said April is my definite time where I move out and I have the funds for it, I'm able to say yes 100%, because right now I'm not at 100%.
Okay.
So if we talk back, if I'm able to be in contact with you and I send you an email, like a for sure email around April, and say, hey, I moved out. I have at least in my calculations like the $400 I can afford for that month, because if I take on what I'm able to save versus what I'm able to kind of comfortably afford, and I say like 100%, I'll be there with you. Is that something that we can kind of like work out, if I can continue in contact with you so you can get, like, if you're getting commission out of this or whatnot? If I have like your email, I have your phone number, right? That's your phone number.
Yeah, so you'll keep my phone number. So dude, whether you move forward or not today, I'm still going to touch base with you just to make sure that you're in a good spot.
For sure,
I'm still going to give you resources. Now, am I not accepting no? No, I'm challenging you and trying to give you perspective, because I went through the same spot. It took me over 4 months before I made my next move. And it wasn't because for me financially, it was because there was a level of anxiety and fear for me, because I knew one way that worked really well for me, but I was scared to make those moves. So I don't want to be overly pushy or overly like, you got to do this today. You don't. But what I am showing you is 7 months from now, it's easy to say I'm going to be locked in versus you don't know what's going to happen in 7 months. A car payment could be hit. Maybe something else happens financially. You never know, right? So thinking about being stuck, I'm just asking you, and again, we don't even have to move forward. We're taking moving forward off the table. Just a question for you is, do you want to be stuck in your current predicament for another 7 months? Do you really want to sell? That's what I would want to know. So I'm totally cool with us saying no. My goal is to make sure I'm talking through all of your options. So at the end of this, you're like, okay, I 100% made the right decision.
Understand.
So dude, I'm totally cool.
It's just life gets in the way,
100%, 100%. So yes, me and you will stay in contact, and you don't have to wait to send me an email. I'll probably reach out to you like once a month and be like, hey dude, what else do you need from me? Because I still want us moving forward as if you decided to become a student today. Whether there's a payment involved or not, I want to be able to provide you resources and make sure that you feel in 100% alignment with us. It's like, I want you to feel supported.
Awesome. But yeah, definitely, I do want to go forward. And in my current circumstance, I just need that. I just need to move out, be able to kind of save that $400 at least per month. That's a lot of money.
Sure.
Because me and my friend were looking at this apartment, and I think both of us would be paying at least like $1,000 per month.
Okay.
And then being able to allocate that money into investing into myself is what I wanted to do.
Sure.
So right now, I just wanted to know quotes. I just needed to know how much I'd be paying for. I had this buddy that wanted to coach me in what he does for his business, and it's like about $3,000. But he's kind of like a startup, like type of thing that you guys do, but you guys are more well established. There's a lot more content that I'm able to use. He is just like a one-man show.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that I wanted to invest in myself for. Whether it's just like the mindset stuff or whatever that I can get benefited out of it. Whether or not the worst thing that can happen is that I put into $7,300 into this and I don't get clients whatsoever, but I learned something from it by improving my mindset. If that's something that it happens,
Yeah, dude, 100%. I'm with that, man. Totally with that. Now, are you currently at the work, because you're pretty transparent about your financial situations? Are we at a point to where like literally it's like literally every little thing, every penny matters right now? Is that where we're at?
Every pay matters right now, yes.
Totally get that.
So
cool.
I can't give my kidney right now. I can't risk it. I can risk it. I could risk it, but it's just like I can potentially die.
Sure, I totally get that. So again, man, we're cool with that. I'm cool with that. I want to make sure that we're on the same playing field. I want to be on the same side.
What is your email? Or like, do you want to just do via text message that we're going to communicate, or?
Me, I'm a big texter because I like to send. Let me see do you have an iPhone? Let's see.
I do.
Yeah, I'm huge on voice memos, man, because I always talk
voice
a lot.
Memos.
Yeah, I'm huge on that. So I'll send you some stuff, man. If I find a video that hypes me up, man, I'll be like, I gotta send this to him because I think you'll get something out of it. So, dude, definitely save my phone number, lock me in. Let's stay in contact and keep me updated on how things are going. Let me know how the vacation's going, man. Like, I want to make sure you're excited about this. Like in 7 months from now, I got to make sure you're still just as hyped as you are today, as well as in 7 months.
I will be.
Cool.
Now,
do you got any other questions for me? Is there anything that I missed for you that I can provide more clarification on?
Right now, no. I think I asked a lot of my questions,
Okay.
like all the main ones, and then I got the quotes from you. Everything else sounds pretty good. You're very thorough.
Cool. I appreciate you, man. Well, let me know if there's anything else. If something pops up in your head, shoot me a text. Do not hesitate to reach out, man. I got you. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
I'm going to send you a couple resources your way as well after this phone call, just so you can start working on something. Cool.
Awesome. All right.
All right, boss.
All right.
Later.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.